Today I wanted to talk to you about the concept of the black sheep. And when you think of the words black sheep, you think about somebody who's maybe done something wrong. But it comes from a farming context, and a black sheep doesn't do anything that the white sheep aren't doing. In fact, the farmer hates the black sheep because nobody wants to buy his wool, because you can't dye black wool. In a social context, it usually refers to the ostracism of a family member. And in the same way, the family member has not done anything wrong. They are ostracized for their difference. Like the black sheep, they are hated for no behavior, but something they have no control over. So in the black sheep's case, they're hated for their color, right? New paragraph. In the United States, there is a leader whose last name rhymes with Gump, who some people have said doesn't always seem to act in the best interest of his citizens, but in his own self-interests. Now, if you can accept that, it's so hard to imagine that a family member might act in his or her own self-interests and not in the interests of a loved one. So, in the province of Ontario, we have this weird set of laws that makes it possible for a family member to have a loved one ruled incapacitated without them ever even knowing it. They're supposed to be informed, they're supposed to be tested, they're supposed to talk to a doctor at least, or have access to a lawyer or due process, but they don't need to have those things. That's bad. So, a family can have all this done without the person even knowing. But what's even worse is they could take those documents to, say, the person's family doctor, their trauma therapist, their pharmacist, their daughter's elementary school, their daughter's YMCA. And so now we get a bigger group of people, right? That's pretty dark. But then they could contact Google. And they could say, we're really worried about our family member, and that would give them access to all of the person's contacts, about 1,000 more people, and give them access to the person's email. And then, since they're on a roll, I guess they could go to Facebook and tell them the same thing, and contact, well, we're headed towards 2,000 people now, of whom, apparently, nobody ask serious questions about how did you get my information, but more importantly, why are you contacting me? Because let's say the RCMP or the FBI believes that there's a killer in a certain neighborhood. Do they go to everyone in the neighborhood and say, we believe there might be a killer in your neighborhood and his name is John Smith and he's 5 feet 9 inches tall and has brown hair? Why not? Well, first of all, John Smith has rights. And if they knew he was guilty, they would just arrest him, right? Second of all, they're going to create widespread panic because people are going to be terrified that there's a killer in their neighborhood. They're going to go down in their basement, they're going to get a gun, and they're going to shoot somebody maybe. And the most likely person of all to get shot is John Smith. So if the FBI tells everybody in the neighborhood that they have a killer named John Smith, you can be pretty sure they're not trying to catch John Smith. They're trying to get rid of him. So I guess the first thing we should say to any of those 2,000 people is shame on them for thinking that the right path is through deception and secrecy. So if you've heard of anybody like that, hey, give me a shout. My contact information is pretty widely available at this point. I'd love to hear about it. I think a lot of people would like to know. And hey, black sheep matter. And that is today's aha moment.